today I thought I'd revisit the Carn Brea walk, but it's a wet and windy day in Cornwall again, so I don't know how far I'm actually going to get, but we'll give it a go. The winter heliotrope is still growing. I talked before about the mining heritage in this area. There's a lot of redundant mine buildings, most of which haven't been used for over 100 years. The area is heavily mined for copper and tin, and they're currently looking into extracting lithium, which apparently exists also in the same places as copper and tin. So it's a post-industrial environment that I'm walking in at the moment, and most of Cornwall, although it's considered to be quite beautiful, it's also a post-industrial environment, so there's lots of former industrial buildings. Already I can see changes in the foliage. We've got pussy willows, goat willow I think here, either a goat willow or a grey willow. I can tell when the leaves are present, but not always when there's just buds. And this is where we found all the beard fungus last time, or the beard lichen last time. So I'm just approaching one of the most heavily covered trees, which is a willow. And you can just see how much lichen there is on this tree. Beautiful. There's also buds, pussy willow buds. So signs of spring are all around now, with the primroses here. So much mud. Catkins on the floor. And we've got some celandine flowers. Celandine flowers. The gorse is always out. There's always one of the gorse varieties out in Cornwall. Primroses. They've been out for a few weeks. Lovely to see them with the little droplets of dew on them as well, actually. Lots of moss on these trees. I suppose that's indicative of living in Cornwall, and particularly for this year it's been very mild, very damp, and so we get a lot of greenery. Here again you can see the bright green leaves of the crocosmia coming up. We've got some bluebells. This is a little bit farther behind than the woodland, I would say, because we're higher up. In terms of signs of spring, there's lots of hazel catkins, alder catkins on the floor here, and cones on the tree above. Lots more beard lichen here. A few different sorts, but I don't know what they are. There's also some fungus on this tree as well. I'm just coming up to the castle, which is the midpoint of this walk. It looks pretty much the same as it did last time I came here in December, or last time I videoed it here. Misty, bracken. I'm out of breath. The irony is that as I was reaching the midpoint, the sole has decided to come off my shoe. So I had to strap it on. With the lace. So I'm hoping I'll make it back to the car on this occasion, most of all. I managed to reach the top of the hill with my shoe still attached to my foot, but I think I'll have to cut it a little bit short. I'm not sure how much I showed of the castle last time, which I think I did mention that it's not a castle as such, but it's a hunting lodge. Quite a strange little building built on a pile of rocks. You can see we still have daffodils out. We have a long daffodil season because a lot of them are grown commercially, so some fields started to bloom in December because we've had a mild winter. Some of the more naturalised ones are only just coming into bloom now. Last time I was here I showed you the Bath Monument, but this is Cornwall and today you can't see it. I'll show you the landscape. There's not a lot to see today because it's so misty. I quite like the mist because I find it very insulating. Apart from the wind, it kind of quietens the world down, and I really appreciate that. Lots of celandines here, and some young nettle shoots. Most of the celandines are closed up and they'll open when it's in the sun. I feel very similar myself sometimes. Most of my impressions of nature projects has been about noticing the changes in the seasons and getting to know the plants in the area, in my very local area, and celebrating those things as well, like the pennywort on that stone there. Once you start to look, I find that there's so much more to see, particularly in the hedgerows, even on a wet and windy day. There's also some cow parsley now coming up. They usually flower in May, but the leaves are already apparent. This is three-cornered leek. It's got a strong oniony garlicky taste and is edible. Further down the hill I saw the white flowers on them, but up here there is no flowers yet. Shows you what a difference a few feet make. This is the first unfurling ferns I've seen. There's still quite a lot of ferns because it's been so mild that are in full leaf, but these are the first ones that are unfurling that I've seen. I'm just looking here at the amount of moss on these trees. There's little copse of trees. And I was also thinking, in a recent social media post I wrote about doing things in projects, and I have a number of projects that I'm working on at any one time, but by having projects it gives me something that I can sort of go to whenever I'm not sure what to do, because my weeks are split up into teaching and a variety of other different things, and then my own practice, so I can always come back to something within my practice and think, well, today it's sunny, or today, as in this case, it's rainy, so I'll go for a walk and I'll film for my nature vlog. And this has become a little bit of a project in itself because I wanted to record through a nature journal the changes in the environment. And I find it a bit laborious to write it all, so I thought I'd do it in video format, and by sharing it kind of makes me do it, so it keeps me going because I'm sharing it, and it makes it into a project. So I've decided what I want to do. I've got about 5 walks that I want to take on a regular basis throughout a year, and I want to record the differences in that time. I just want to acknowledge the bird song while we're here. The bird song's definitely increasing at the moment. This is one of those tiny little overlooked plants growing in the rock of one of the redundant mine buildings. I always call it toadflax, but I don't actually know that that's what it's called. I'll look it up when I get home.